Let's now talk about the critical discourse analysis of films, which have been potentially a very powerful source of entertainment. Uh, since its beginning, it has always affected a human life in many ways, and it is considered to be a very powerful media for influencing public opinions. And in most of the world, we can see these days that films are being produced and they are sometimes being sponsored by certain commercial institutions and also by state institutions sometimes to promote some kind of ideology or agenda. In some countries, to promote nationalism. We can see such examples in our neighboring countries and in many European countries also. So there are many movies which are sponsored by state institutions to promote some kind of maybe positive national feelings or other kinds of feelings. So films have been potentially a powerful source of public opinion making in recent times, especially though it has been so throughout its history. But recently, this its potential has been realized more intensely than any other phase of its history. There have been many people, therefore, researchers who have talked about its critical discourse analysis. Woodek and Mayer have been working on non-verbal elements of critical discourse analysis, for example, semiotic, multimodal, visual elements, which make them fit in the analysis of film more deeply as compared to any other model. If you just focus on the surface level textual analysis, you probably would not peep deep into an analysis of a film. In order to analyze a film from a critical perspective, probably you would need more than simple textual analysis. For film analysis, both written and spoken languages are focused. It's very important. There is a very fine point why uh, between this spoken and written text and why this is important. It's absolutely necessary to be understood. And I explain you why. Uh, because sometimes the text which is produced, which we generally call the script of a movie, which is produced in the beginning, may not be enacted in the same spirit on screen. That creates one kind of critique, and sometimes it is deliberately framed or reframed in a certain pattern which was not schemed originally. And based on such interventions, and these interventions may be political, institutionally political, or sometimes may be generally socially political elements. And this may be socio-culturally challenging sometimes also. So, as a critical discourse analyst, you need to understand that why is there any difference between what has been written originally by the original author of the movie and what has been depicted by the director on screen. So this gap can, especially movies who have nationalist or other social agendas, such gaps can be helpful in identifying uh, the intentions, real intentions or real meanings of the movie or of the discourse of the movie. So this is very important to whenever you analyze a film or a film like uh, uh, production of media, you just look into both what was originally framed, written, original text, and also what was rewritten or what was spoken. How dialogue, sometimes there is a lot of variation in the dialogues, and dialogues key take the momentum of the movie to something different what was originally planned. So this is all these paraverbal dimensions of performance and social, regional, ethnic variations are very important in in the context of a movie analysis. So not only the text, but how this text has been enacted into actions on screen, they are very important. Language choices may be a good target of a movie analysis, text analysis, or critical discourse analysis, which is obviously may be the key factor. But other things are also very important. If you just look at the text analysis, code switching is deliberately used in some movies to reproduce some kind of socio-political identities. A language is spoken in a certain dialect in order to show that some kind of social background of the actors. And while a director deliberately tries to show that background, He has deeper meanings than merely showing the background of the actors. Rather, he probably would relate it to some broader and deeper sociocultural reality. The filmic construction of a broad range of social groups has always been very important and could be an important themes of the analysis of film discourse. For example, in such analysis, we can look beyond the traditionally sociological variables of race, class, and gender, and we can see how ideological and socioculturally important images of various characters have been created, and what kind of ideologies are embedded with such characterizations. So we can see that movies can be a very powerful source of highlighting certain ideologies, certain identities, and sometimes even at the cost of others. Movies can build on, can develop certain perceptions, and with the same potential power, they can resist certain forces also, or they can create misperceptions also. We can see, for example, in most of the movies which were produced after 9/11, we can say the construction of Muslim women have been biased from a European perspective. And recently, there have been many studies about that. So, in this way, we can see that there could be many things which can be done about a film discourse.